Salutations to anyone tuning in right now. It is so good to have you here. I appreciate you taking out a little bit of time to hear what is being discussed today. Today, we are talking about managing frustration. I call this a universal challenge that we all deal with at some point in time in our lives. We just completed our relationships with mothers series. And I thought a nice little in between as we get ready to switch over to relationships with fathers for June, because in the United States, we will be getting ready to celebrate Father's Day. Uh, it will be nice to discuss how to manage frustrations. And I feel that this is a more of a universal term because for anyone of you out here that's listening that do not have children and you kind of like maybe not feeling you necessarily relate to the topic discussed, I hope that to present these series where um, some will be specifically about certain individuals and certain experiences, but I hope that I presented the relationships with mom series so that you could see it from a factor of either being a mother and or perhaps in your interactions with your relationship with your mom or with your mother. So I want to do the same thing as well with how I structure the relationships with dad series. So today we're going to be discussing something that I feel is a very universal challenge for all of us, and that's dealing with frustration. Um, we all have experienced frustration to a certain extent. Even, of course, little kids, little children, they, of course, might not understand or know what the word is or what it means, but they have been frustrated. Their frustrations are very visible, as with children. Um, Many times, of course, they get a chance to display their frustration due to the fact that, in a certain extent, they're allowed to have tantrums. And we can see their frustrations really being displayed um, physically, externally. Not so much with us, even though adults we can and we do have opportunities to have our frustrations. One of the things I like to do and I enjoy doing is, of course, I have to schedule this strategically, is giving adults a little bit of a chance to have kind of a tantrum, whether that's coming in and using instruments to just play and sing as loud as they want, scream, play on the drum set, make a lot of noise. Sometimes we need that as adults. I know we have other avenues and ways of doing it that is a little bit more kind of in tune to our age and our adulthoodness. I know I have a few clients that they like to get their frustrations out through perhaps working out or what have you, or kind of their interest in a hobby can become a helpful way to alleviate frustration. So, what I hope to do now, okay, is share my screen so I can share the information with you. As I get ready to do that, I just want to share a few tidbits of business info for you. Then we'll get right to the information. First and foremost, this is Megan. I am the director and therapist of Core 3 Harmony and Wellness Services. We provide music therapy services, we provide counseling, and we provide coaching services. There's a lot more that we have available to do and ways that we serve, and I do advise you to check out the website. We're at www.core3tx.com, and as you can see here, I always get my sides mixed up. Right here is my email address. You can email me directly if you have any questions or any ideas, any thoughts, any kind of feedback. you can get a hold of me right there. If you are new and you've never seen me or don't know diddly squat what this is about, I am doing my best to try to go live just about every Saturday for a little bit. No more than 30 minutes. Sometimes I go a little bit over, but I try to keep it nice, short, sweet, and to the point. The idea is to provide information that will inform, uplift, and inspire you along your life journey and your path, and you doing what you do and you doing it well. And that's our goal and that's our motto. So I thank you. I appreciate you. If you are already a subscriber, I appreciate you so very much. Little things that you can do that's non-monetary, that costs you nothing. Your subscription don't cost a thing. Sorry, as a music therapist, gosh, I have songs roaming around in my head all the time. It don't cost you a thing. All you have to do is give us a thumbs up. That helps with letting YouTube know you're checking it out. You like the information we're giving us, and just that acknowledgement goes a long way. So I appreciate that if you could do that. All right, so let me go ahead here and get all my gear ready so that I can share my screen with you. All right. So here, let me do this. Yes, you can do it. Let me do this. Okay, I'm excited. I'm hoping this is working now. I had some issues last time. If anyone tried to watch me, I apologize. We had a few issues, but I am toes, fingers crossed that everything will be okay. All right, so let me see here. I think you should be able to see my screen. We're going to be talking about, whoops, I don't want you to go that far yet. We're going to be talking about ways to manage frustration. I guess, first of all, I probably should have maybe, what do I want to say? Provide a definition for frustration. Um, and sometimes, even in sessions when I am working with people, what I will do is, I see that my screen's not sharing yet, so hold on, give me a second. What I would do, there we go. Beautiful. What I would do is kind of just stop, take a break, and actually define um, people have maybe two monitors. Here I am. I hope you could still hear me during all that. Sometimes when you have multiple things open and you close something down to look at something else, I'm starting to understand now why um, some people that I see or view, um, I see now why they have more than one monitor. It can be very helpful when you're doing a, a couple of things. All right, so we're gonna pull back. Let's just kind of slow down a little bit here. Let us focus on. Let me get this. There we go. I hope you can see that. Let's slow down and focus on beautiful. It's working for me. Thank goodness. Let's slow down and focus on what does frustration mean? What is the definition of frustration? I know one of the things that is very easy is to kind of pull back and think of examples and times when you have been frustrated. Uh, that is an easy part. But the definition of frustration is feeling or expressing distress and annoyance, especially because of inability to change or achieve something. Frustration and annoyance, distress with an inability to change or achieve something. So there we have it. That is our definition of frustration. We're unable to change or achieve something. So, how can we manage this? Um, let's check out a few tips that I wanted to share with you today. So, one of the first things that's very helpful to do is to just take a step back. One of the smartest things that you can do when you're feeling frustrated is just pull yourself back from the situation and breathe. Okay. Um, Try not to react. Take a minute, if you can, to distance yourself from the situation so that you can ask what just happened and try to figure out an answer. By stepping outside of the situation, you can see things more objectively. Ask if there are pros and cons to this situation that you're going through or that you're experiencing. And remind yourself that if you've been there or been in that situation before, um, how did you react or what did you do or how did you respond? How were you able to get out of that situation unscathed? So, even if the particular situation or experience that you're in is something that's brand new for you, you have never been in that situation and that experience for you, chances are I'm pretty sure someone has. I don't know if the person that has is around you at the time that can maybe help you, but that's also something to think about is if you have the support of others around you that can help you in that situation. And here is a really awesome survival tip is just hunker down and just have that affirmation for yourself and to yourself that you'll survive it. You will get through the situation, whatever it is that you may be experiencing. Okay. So, the next thing you can do in order to help you manage your frustration is to embrace the emotion and then release it. Okay, let it go. When you're frustrated, you're pulling a lot of emotion into a situation. I had an experience online this week in one of my classes. Many of you may know I'm working on my doctoral degree in counseling psychology. And we had a moment with the professor and another student in the class where it was getting amped up. I was just sitting back like, whoa. And usually, even though I know I shouldn't do this, I'm usually always multitasking, like whether I'm taking notes or I'm grabbing some information from something else or looking at something. And it was enough of a interruption in the flow of the class that the professor was giving that I stopped everything I was doing and I was like, what is going on? And sure enough, the professor was like, okay, we need to pull back, pull away from the emotional aspect of it. And it was kind of funny to me because I'm listening to the person say this and I'm like, they're right. But I mean, it's so hard when you're the opposite end and you're in it and you're the emotional one. I could tell that the person was having a very difficult time doing that. And it takes practice. These kinds of things do not come natural. Our natural selves, oh, we want to go there. So it takes a lot of control, it takes a lot of practice to pull ourselves down. This is why so many of us therapists, and people may get tired of hearing it, I tell my clients this too. This is why breathing is such a game changer. Your breath work can change everything. So when you start to feel your body getting a little bit out of control, focus on your breathing, because it's easy, it don't cost nothing, and it's something that you can do. Now many people have a challenge with it because they're not used to using their breath in a healthy, manageable coping way to pull themselves out of a distressing moment. So we need to start practicing that and doing that more. Your first reaction might be to suppress your feelings. We do not want to be suppressing that stuff. It does not sit well. Rather than pushing down and trying to ignore them, identify what you're feeling, then allow yourself to feel it before letting it go. That aspect right there is huge. I encourage the people I'm working with to sit with their stuff. And I know that's really hard. We don't like to do that. I mean, who wants to sit with something uncomfortable? When there are very, how should I say, high um toxic is not the right word, but very high intensity. There we go. Thank you. Sometimes it just takes me a moment. There are very high intensity emotions um, that are not easy to just let them be with us, but it's important to go, you have to go through, move through the experience to get out to the other side. Okay. Um, this keeps emotions from controlling the situation. Okay, that's huge. We end up getting ourselves in a lot of trouble because we let the emotions of the thing from ourselves, from how we're feeling, control it. And so we want to learn how to not give it that control. Okay. Okay, another way we can manage our frustration: act when calm. Okay. When you think you're outside the emotions and you're able to act rationally, do just that. You should make all decisions from your logical self, not from the emotional one. I don't know why, but lately when I've been talking about emotions with clients, I believe, uh, and I apologize already if I'm getting the uh, artists of some songs wrong. Um, I get so emotions. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You. I feel like that's Mariah Carey. Anybody listening to me right now, I hope I'm causing a little bit of laughter, what have you, because this is a life of me as a music psychotherapist. Got music running in my head all the time. Anyway, that song pops in my head about emotions, or I get so emotions, which I don't think that's a word. But it, this is something that I believe we are starting to do, and it's beginning to happen, especially in the school setting, is teaching young people how to address their emotions and deal with that. I feel like more could be done, and I don't know if that's I know, like, at the collegiate level there are counselors, not just school counselors, but there are therapists on campus, or some campuses provide therapy available to students. Boy, do we need that at every grade level. Okay, from elementary all the way on up. Like, I love working with young people, so that would be a place I wouldn't mind assisting and helping. I think it's something that we need to think about, needs to be in available to every school system are therapists to help deal with that, because I know that the poor teachers are inundated with as much as they can with the specific subjects they're teaching. They about like, you know what, you just go talk to the therapist. Could, like, you need a little moment, you need a little time. So this is an area right here of understanding how we can step outside the emotions and to act more rationally is so key and very important at every stage of life. You should make all decisions from your logical self. Now, we know we don't do that, but we know that we should, not the emotional one. The goal is to respond to a frustrating situation and not react. Again, we want to learn how throughout life, we want to learn how to respond, not react. I explain it to clients that when we're responding, we're responding with the logical self. When we're reacting, we're responding from that emotional self. Okay. All right. So remember our definition of frustration. Case in point, pretty much it's because we're not getting what we want. I just like to kind of break it down as simple as I can for people. So when we identify what what we wanted in the first place, we have to come back around. You know, what was going on there that caused us to kind of to get in so embedded and become frustrated. The frustration tends to happen when we're not getting what we want. You know, we have to think about what triggered this frustration. Um, you know, what was this thing, a want or an actual need? If it's a want, is it practical or reasonable? And then, or is it something you need to just let go? Um, Having the ability to decipher, okay, this is something that I want, and this is something that I need. And how do those two sit with you? What makes them different? Um, a need, you know, when you look at the word need, you're thinking it's coming out of a necessity. It's almost like that is non-negotiable when it's a need. When it's a want, I often equate it with, this is a wish. Um, this is probably something that could be negotiable. This is something that I probably could get, but I don't need to get it right now. So I think when you look at the situation like that, you have to think of, okay, is this coming from the area of a want and or an area of a need? And then sometimes within that situation, the aspect of letting it go, and I feel like we can never think of let it go unless we go there with the Frozen, the Frozen film with the song. But when you think of letting it go, at what aspect do you need to release yourself from what that thing was? This is very helpful, especially when you're dealing with someone else and it seems like they're not able to manage the frustration that they're exhibiting or that everyone is being wrapped up in. You have to let that go, and everybody needs a cooling down period in order to come back and talk about the thing. And this is one of those areas that comes up a lot in working with couples and groups, and different teams like corporate teams and stuff like that. Okay. All right, we're coming close to wrapping it up. Oh, we're doing good on time. Oh yeah. Okay, so last but not least, managing your frustration. You, with all of the information shared, you know, you have to. It all comes down to you making a choice. Okay. In the end, frustration only leaves you with two choices: to accept the status quo, even if it's painful, of the circumstance or situation, or change the situation to ease the frustration. Decide which one it's going to be for you. If you're going with the status quo, you have to accept that the frustration is a part of the decision. Remember, we talked about, you have to move through it, like those emotions, those high intensity emotions. You need to learn how to practice sitting with them and moving through them. It's very uncomfortable. Nobody wants to be sitting up in anger or sadness or hurt and all of those high intensity ones. Don't nobody like that. Don't nobody want that. Anybody got time? But it's a process that you have to go through, so that stuff doesn't become sedentary and suppressed. Because the longer it sits, it festers and it just gets worse. It's not taken care of like it should be. If you're going through the status quo, you have to accept the frustration as being part of the decision and learn to live with it or let it go. Okay. So, managing frustration isn't hard as long as we can stay out of the emotions of the moment. And that is the game changer right there. Um, Gosh, I mean, have we not seen this past year with all of the hot mess going on in the world? Whether it's wearing a mask, not wearing a mask, voting for X or voting for YZ, this happened and that happened, and man, we've seen it on our screens, on our social media. Just the emotions are just so high, and everyone, you see how easily susceptible we all are to feeling that, to like feed into. That's why I'm like, you know what? I ain't got anybody got time for that. I just can't. It's very draining. Even me just sitting here sharing that with you and talking about it. And I'm not, mentioning specific things, but everybody know what I'm talking about. If you're still here breathing on this earth, you've seen the wild stuff we've been through these last couple years, really. It's just like, it's a lot. And you think, I believe in the debates, and this was something that I just thought, wow, this is like the wisest person in the room. And I think it was a fourth or fifth grader at one of the presidential debates asked, um, if the presidential candidates cannot figure out a way to get along, how are we supposed to learn how to get along? And I was like, what? From the mouths of babes. Wow. And so, you know, we see that even at the elite, high caliber levels of where people sit and things that they do and positions that people hold, they have a very difficult time with it. Um, there are some people that, they're very prominent, that are very well known, that I feel do display and practice it as well as they can and possibly could. And there are some that just, they need to go to a frustration management class or something. Like we have anger management. I don't know, regulate your emotions 101 like should be a course that everyone takes. Because managing frustrations is not hard. It really is not. As long as we keep ourselves away from allowing the emotions to get the best and to start to control what's going on and control the moment. So we have to keep a handle on ourselves. Again, Ice Cube comes to mind. We got to check ourselves before you wreck yourself. You better check yourself before you wreck yourself. We have to keep a handle on ourselves. We have to take full and complete ownership of how we are in the situation in the moment. Okay. Um, take time to think things through using maybe a frustrating moment that can be a real difficult challenge. It's hard. We are impatient. We are not very patient with ourselves, let alone with others. So taking time is very helpful and useful in managing frustrations. And then we can act as needed, acting from a logical, rational standpoint and not from an emotional, reactionary standpoint. So I hope you enjoyed that little nugget today of information and knowledge. I appreciate you. Let me go ahead. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here, um, and get back to where you can see me. I can. Here we are. I appreciate you. I want to take out some time to make sure whoever you are, whoever is watching, that I appreciate you. I thank you. You have given me something of yours today, and that was your time. Your time is very valuable. Your time is very, very precious. I want to say thank you again to all the subscribers. If you're not subscribing, you're seeing this, please subscribe. Um, I got crazy jokes and songs in my head. Sometimes my jokes make sense, sometimes they don't. Bear with me. I am just so appreciative of this time, this space, this platform to be able to share. I don't know ever how many may be watching or at what point that you will, but I thank you for having to pause and take out some time to hear what I have to say. I am. Whew, I always love this because my my hands always tend to be on the chilly side. I'm one of those people that would be the odd ones wearing gloves in the room, and you're like, where are they wearing gloves in the room? My extremities are not very good circulation, so they get chilly. So it always feels good. But also, I think of this as that beautiful three parts that we are. We are made up of energy, frequency, and vibration. All of us. That's why we don't want nothing but good vibes. We know some people who be bringing bad vibes. We ain't got time for that. We want good vibes. So I am sending nothing but good vibes your way from my hands to yours. Every time I do that, that song pops in my head. Reach out and touch somebody's hands. Make this world a better place if you can. So I am setting nothing but good intentions for all of my clients, sending you good intentions that wherever you are on your path, your journey, that you are doing it to the best of your ability, doing it well. If at any point you need support or help, reach out, to us here. Again, Core 3 Harmony and Wellness Services, www.core3tx.com. You can also email me here. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to growth potential, and providing more services, not through just me, but there are some other individuals coming up in the ranks, I believe, who are going to be wonderful teams to continue to provide services for you if you are needing therapy, coaching, um, counseling. We are here for you. We offer services directly if you're in our area. You can come in our office, we can come to you, um, as well as remotely. So, thank you so much for your time today. Do know that the little ticker tape at the bottom, we're going to be back live the first Saturday in June, where we will be kicking off our relationships with dad. And we're going to go there too. There's the good, the bad, and the ugly in that situation as well. And we'll talk about all of it. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you the first Saturday in June. You take care of yourself. Do know this, that you matter, you are worthy, and you are loved. Thank you so much.